Hey everybody, I'm going to share some key points with you that I think have been very important for me while I've been doing what I can to shed some weight, just kind of cut down on some belly fat, get rid of just some excess weight that I had kind of gained over the course of the last several months or so, just eating a lot of fast food and soda, things like that. So if I were to lay out 4 or 5 really important things that I incorporated into my weight loss routine that I think could be really beneficial to a lot of people who are looking to do a similar thing, I would say one, first of all, better proportioned meals. And just to elaborate on that, probably about 3 meals a day. That can sort of help just proportion things as well. So I realized that I was eating, not even really paying that much attention to how much I was eating. So my meals would be sometimes really big, and I would just sort of eat until, I felt like stopping, and I didn't really think too much about it. Now I'm just managing that a little bit better, so I'll have just better proportion, kind of 3 medium-sized meals each day. It just kind of helps me keep in mind and just be aware of not kind of overeating and just eating a bunch of stuff. The other keys are getting a reasonable exercise routine in. I've been going to the gym usually every few days, and I'll do both some cardio and some weightlifting. If you've watched some of my other videos, you know that I'm a big fan of the deadlift exercise. That's great. And then when I do cardio, oftentimes it's on the treadmill or an elliptical. Then I incorporate some other weightlifting activities too, specifically some ab exercises, or especially just since I was trying to cut down on some belly fat. So the third and fourth keys that I would recommend is, the third would be replacing the fatty, unhealthy, carbohydrate-rich foods with more fruits and vegetables and lean protein. I think that's helped me quite a bit. I'm not eating burgers and french fries all the time, or these really fatty burritos and stuff that you'd get at Taco Bell with a bunch of nacho cheese and stuff like that. I've been eating a lot of smoothies, which are basically just fruit, vegetables, a little bit of juice and some ice in there. And you can make those actually taste really good. I forgot to mention I do put some spinach or like some mixed greens in there too often. And if you just put like a half cup in there, just a reasonable amount, you hardly even really taste it. You just kind of taste the fruit really. So that's good. And then the fourth key, I would say, have a glass of water before or with every meal. And the reason I say that is because I actually heard from a friend of mine who had lost 60 pounds, and she had mentioned that she would drink basically a water glass, 8 ounces of water before or with every single meal. And I think it's true that it helps you feel a little bit more full and willing to kind of stop eating without packing on a bunch of extra calories like you would otherwise had you not had that glass of water, or if that glass of water was just substituted with juice or soda or something else. Even though you'd be trying to hydrate, you'd also be packing on a bunch of extra calories that you don't even really need. So I think that would help really well. So to go over the 4 keys one more time, or just in summary, we have better proportion meals, that coming down to medium-sized, 3 good medium-sized meals a day, I would say. And they could be a little bit smaller or bigger here and there, like smaller at breakfast some days if you need to. But yeah, I would say that's a good guideline. Having a reasonable, consistent exercise routine. 3, substituting in fruits and vegetables and lean protein or meat. in for those really high fatty foods like burgers and fries and fast food and all that. And then 4, having a glass of water before or with each meal that you have. Hope you enjoyed this video and you see some results. I think you will. This is my first sort of just weight loss or kind of tone up routine that I've even gone through, and I've certainly noticed some success. I've lost probably about 8 pounds in the past 3 weeks, approximately 8 to 10 pounds or so. So I noticed I have been feeling better. I tend to have just kind of more energy, not as lethargic, and I think this could definitely work out for you too. Something funny that I wanted to mention too is if you are doing deadlifts and incorporating that into your routine, I think you'll definitely see some results. Something kind of odd happened to me the other day. I was at the gym and I was doing my deadlifts, which I've now been doing over the past month and a half, and I went down to do a rep, and I heard this big like rip in the back of my shorts. I thought it was my shorts that ripped, so I was kind of embarrassed because I thought like there were a bunch of people behind me just like, you know, looking at me with these like this huge hole in my shorts. But fortunately it actually wasn't my shorts, it was my boxers, so it wasn't visible, but I definitely heard a big rip. My boxers were torn in half. I'll need to throw those away. And a couple days prior to that, I was lifting my garage door up in a pair of dress pants, which I had done before, no issue. But as I was doing that, and it's the same motion as basically a deadlift, my pants, the back of my pants at the butt, ripped again. So if you're doing deadlifts, you probably will notice certainly some gains in certain areas. One being your butt gets a lot bigger just because it's just a big muscle that's part of the exercise. But then also, as I mentioned in that other video I did, bigger traps and arms, and definitely legs too are a good part of that. By the way, another thing I've learned is as far as weight loss goes, you don't always want to be constantly checking the scale, because you can definitely notice results with your body by not necessarily losing weight. Because if you are doing weight training and getting your muscles in better shape, it doesn't mean you'll necessarily lose weight, but you'll be in much better shape. Like you'll notice clothes fitting better and be healthier and things like that. So that's one thing I've learned. Don't be obsessed with what the scale is telling you, because you could be in much better shape with a lot more muscle and you know, only have shed a few pounds but be in quite a bit better shape. So the scale isn't always the greatest reading for just kind of your level of how in shape you are. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.